Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little guy right here, Hong. It is put out by White Goblin Games, and the designer is Nestor Romero Andres. Maybe I murdered that name. I apologize if I did. But it is an abstract strategy game, which from the very beginning, I want to say that I'm a little pleased just from the outside look of the game, because it's an abstract strategy game that doesn't look like it's abstract. Now, some of you might be saying, well, that's false advertising then. Well, no, I don't think so, because I don't care how abstract your strategy is. There's no reason that you can't make your game look good. All right, so maybe I'm starting off on a little soapbox, but hey, let's get down to the table. We'll take a look, and then you can make your own decision. So this is a game of Hong set up as per the rules. The only thing I've done differently is that I've split the pool of tiles into two, one for the Dragon Master and one for the Emperor. And then I'm also including the expansion of the Lair of the 7 Great Dragons, and because I think it's such a simple addition to the game that I don't know why you wouldn't play without it. But that having been said, let's go ahead and get to the actual rules. What you're trying to do, if you're the Dragon Master, is you're trying to get a number of 15 or more Hongs on the board. Now, a Hong is where you have a dragon that has 2 heads and at least 1 segment of body. So this right here would be 1 Hong. Now, see, so he's trying to get 15 of those on the entirety of the board after every space has been filled. So, for example, this would not be a Hong yet because it doesn't have that second head. But as soon as another tile is added to give it a second head, that would be a complete Hong at that point. So, the Dragon Master is trying to get 15 Hongs on the entire board, while the Emperor is simply trying to stop him from reaching this number. This is a double-sided board. I'll show you the other side later, but it is a garden side, and only 13 Hongs are needed on that side for the Dragon Master. So this is the starting board that they recommend that you play your first game with. On your turn, you're basically just going to be taking a tile and placing it onto any unoccupied space that is on the grid, and of course you have to match the grid. You can't place something like that. All right, so these 3 tiles start on their stone side. As you can see, the tiles are dragons on one side and stones on the other. So you would take your turn of placing 1 tile, your opponent takes a turn of placing 1 tile, and back and forth until the entire grid is filled with tiles, whether they are on dragon side or stone side. Now, the Lair of the 7 Great Dragons expansion is used in this way. So, for example, whenever we have a Hong that is finished by a player, doesn't matter which one it is, but the first one, this is a 1 length Hong because it has 1 body segment in it, and the first person to do that would turn over a tile, and that tile gives him a special ability. So, for example, this one allows you to place a stone tile somewhere on the board. So you would just simply place it, of course, in an unoccupied square. This one allows you to place another dragon tile out on the board somewhere. This one allows you to flip a dragon tile from its dragon side to its stone side. And this one allows you to rotate 90 degrees any tile that you want to. So if I were to do something like that, that would take that Hong away from the Dragon Master. Then you have a tile that lets you swap 2 tiles. So you take a dragon tile and swap it with a stone tile anywhere on the board. So you could do something like this, for instance. All right. Then you have this one, which lets you take a dragon tile and slide it to a empty adjacent space. So you could take this and move it this way or something to that effect. Or if it was here, you could move it this way, whatever fits. And then the last tile here allows you to move a stone tile to any other unoccupied space. So you could take this and move it here, or you could take this one and move it here, as long as it's an adjacent space. So that's what this one does. It simply adds an extra layer, I think a very thin layer of complexity. Why the rules didn't include this as part of the base game and it calls it an expansion, I don't understand, but that's what's there. Now, to reveal each of these other ones here, you would have to have a Hong that is 2 body lengths for this one. This one would be the first person to do a 3 body length Hong and 4, 5, 6, 7 respectively. And then once the board is completely filled with tiles, you go through and count. You can actually use these tokens if you wish to keep track of how many Hongs were actually completed by the Dragon Master to see if he won or if the Emperor was successful in keeping him from accomplishing his purpose. So what the rulebook says is that you should count one way first. So we'll do horizontal first and then we'll do vertical ones next. So going across the top, we have this one right here that has 2 body segments, but it doesn't have another head. So that is not a complete Hong. This one, however, is. So we'll go ahead and count that one. This one here doesn't have a body segment, so it doesn't count as a Hong, but this one does, so we'll put that there as well. And then down the second row, we have another right here, and right here, and then another right here. Then this next segment, we've got one that's there. That's that. Here, that's not complete. Neither of those. This one is, though. And no others here. That's not complete. Not complete. This one is complete. And not complete over there. This one is complete here. And this one is also complete here. So just from the horizontals, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Hongs. So from verticals, if we can get 5 more, then we have 1. So we go with the vertical starting in this direction here. We have 1 right there, and 1 right here, and then we have another one right here. Not complete. We have another one right here. That's 14. If we find 1 more, then we are finished. And there it is. So with that, the Dragon Master has won, and the Emperor has not succeeded in saving his land from being overrun with dragons. And that's how you play the game. It's pretty simple. So that is Hong by White Goblin Games. And as abstract strategy games go, this is the way I like to see them being produced. I don't think that in order to have an abstract strategy game, you have to also have an abstract graphic design. It just doesn't make sense to me that somebody will make a game that's abstract strategy, in my opinion, already kind of a little boring, but then have no theme on top of it. It just doesn't make sense. And people can talk about how elegant they think those other abstract graphic design games look. I got that. It's a personal preference. It's a taste. I understand that. But for me, I love games with theme. And I love games with beautiful graphic design. And I like games that have something that I can look at and get some artistic enjoyment out of as I'm playing the game, whether it's abstract or not. So when an abstract strategy game comes out and gives a beautiful graphic design for the game, whether it's over the top or something like Santorini, just an abstract strategy game, but man, is that board and those pieces, they are amazing. that kind of stuff just knocks it out of the park for me. Now, I haven't played Santorini yet. I'm just going on the outside appearance, the way the game looks. And this game looks great. I love the fact that they put some time into hiring an artist and getting those graphical designs on the board. I love that. Great. Super cool. Now, I told you I was going to show you the other side of the board. Now, this side of the board is called the palace or the castle, and it's kind of a boring, drab design. But if you just flip it over here, this side has a lot of pop to it, and I actually like this board better. It's the more advanced side of the board. The Dragon Master only has to get 13 hongs on this side, as opposed to 15 on this side, because the playing surface is larger. So the playing surface is smaller over here, so it's a little bit more compact, it's a little bit more tight, and I really enjoy this side a lot better than the other one. But as you can see, from the cherry blossoms up here at the top to the little river that's going by here, the bridge, I just really like the look of this board. And I like this one too, don't get me wrong, but this one really pops. So, graphic design knocked it out of the park. Now, as far as gameplay is concerned, it is a brain burner in a number of different ways. And part of what I'm talking about here is where the graphic design breaks down just a little bit. I'm sure, as you could have seen, maybe you experienced it a little bit as I was going through counting up all of the different hongs that had been created with my example. Maybe you could see how busy the board was and how convoluted. You really had to kind of take your time to follow the different segments to make sure that if you're looking at a completed or an uncompleted hong. And so that's one thing that where the graphic design maybe went a little bit over the top. Maybe I would have enjoyed a little bit less action going on the board, especially for scoring purposes. But really, that's a minor nitpick more than anything else. Gameplay is very tight. Sometimes you have to think at it this way. Am I going to finish a hong here in order to release one of those ancient dragons that will help me? Am I going to not worry about the ancient dragons and simply cap off those hongs as soon as I can just to make sure that I win? Those are the different kinds of decisions that you have to make. The ancient dragon tiles that come from the expansion are actually, they can make or break you. And sometimes, because they're randomly determined which one goes on which spot at the beginning of the game, that can either make or break you. Maybe the one that you finish is not the one that really helps you, and it almost might hurt you a little bit. So there is a push and pull tension that's there on whether or not you're going to go for these, or if you're just going to try to leave them alone and not worry about them. Now, with all that being said, is this abstract strategy game going to stand the test of time in my collection? Well, there's one element that needs to be tested first, and that is time. I need to see how often this is going to hit the table. Abstract strategy is a pretty crowded market, especially even if you look at it from a graphical design aspect. There's a lot of games that are coming out here recently in the last couple of years that really have great abstract strategy, and they also have great graphic design. So is this one going to be able to hold its own in that market? I don't know. We'll have to see. It is abstract strategy, but it isn't so brain-burny that other people won't be able to enjoy it. And I think that's a balance that needs to be struck if you're going to have success in an abstract strategy market that is crowded the way it is right now. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give 1.5 thumbs up for this. Not a full 2, because the board is really busy once you start laying all those things out, and that can really kind of mess with your perception and your mind a little bit towards the end of the game. And I didn't really enjoy that aspect of it, so that clicks it down 1/2 of a thumb. So I enjoy it. I think it's a great design. It's a simple design, which in my opinion makes it elegant. But at the same time, I think that I'm just going to have to wait and see how long this actually holds its legs for me. So that is it from me. We'll see you guys on the flip side.